Alright guys, it's Ileana. I am back here with another rant talking situation. So, in the last 9 months, not last 9 months, it's been about 2 months now since I've left my last job. So if people from my last job, past coworkers who are watching this video, you know exactly the place that I'm talking about. I am, again, finally inspired to talk about this because if you follow any of the RuPaul Drag Race drag queens, I know, where am I going with this? Something came out about Gia Gunn talking about some sort of situation, and I liked how she was talking about it, and I absolutely agreed with her. So I think she was talking about it on her Instagram post. I don't follow her on there, but I saw it on YouTube, and again, gosh. So she was talking about working hard and people not appreciating you, and that is exactly one of my points that for my own case, and I kind of hate this because my big problem with my last job was not only was I mistreated, I also have a problem with other people are mistreated. I have a big thing that if you are only kind to certain people because you feel like only being kind to those people, you aren't being a good person. And I am, I can give second chances, yada yada, but like, are they actually going to take it? Now, when I talked to my last job about the problems that I was having, some of the problems that I was having, I felt like the way that they fixed the problem was that they just tried to avoid me more. And they started putting those problems on other people. So they didn't fix the problem because it kept happening, which is so disappointing. Isn't that wrong, or am I wrong? Am I wrong? Because that's the way that they made me feel. I was the problem, not them. And gosh, there's just so much. Either way, I just want to just say the same thing about what Gia Gunn was saying. It's just like, you work so hard to be perfect, and you're not the problem. Like, you work so hard to be perfect in their eyes, and then, like, they're never going to be happy with you. They expect more. For people who expect more out of you, you will never be perfect enough for them. You can try your hardest, and it just won't happen because they don't want you. They want whatever the heck they want. And it's not you. Simple as that. It's not you. And so there comes a time where you need to leave and move on, and it hurts. It hurts so bad. Like, I did leave. I put in so much work into that place. I was so proud of what I thought that place was supposed to be. And then finally, I was just like, I can't take any more of this. Like, literally, I was so sick. I have a tendency to have this thing where I like to call it my sixth sense. My mom even says, she was just like, you've always had this thing where if you met someone and you didn't like them from the beginning, you just knew something was up. And I really have always been that way. And when I got there, I was so excited. I was trying to pump myself up. This job is going to be great. The job itself was exactly what I wanted. I wanted more hours. I wanted to get more money, which was not due to being paid hourly. It was due to tips. And I wanted to, fast pace, money, hours, and it was a coffee job. I love coffee. I wanted to stay in coffee. That's why I went there. And their coffee wasn't bad. I have criticisms over this and that, but I'm trying not to get so much into the place. But as far as I know, they aren't about the coffee. They were hiding behind a coffee job, but the simple fact that they were so discriminatory against people who weren't Christian and their type of Christian, because I myself I am specifically Catholic. I do consider myself a Christian, right? Catholic, Christian. Catholics will agree that we're Christian. Some people don't agree with that. Not that that was the case there. I didn't go to their church. Let's just say that. If you did not go to their church, they weren't going to treat you right. And I can point that to this, and this, all these instances. If someone wants to say that I'm wrong about that, they've proven themselves through their actions. You can say and talk all you want, but your actions speak louder than words. And it wears on people. And that was something that I actually did talk to management about. You know, if you keep picking on people, oh, you did this wrong, you did this wrong, you did this wrong, it gets to people. I like constructive criticism, and nitpicking at people and not helping them is not helping, right? So there was a time where someone told me that I wasn't trying hard enough, and it hurt. It hurt so bad. Someone said I was not trying hard enough, and I was like, excuse me? I was trying so hard there to fit in. I was trying, and God, I fell into the same mistake that I learned years ago. I learned not to do this years ago. Do not forget who you are and mold into somebody else to try and fit their sense of perfect, because it will never work. If they cannot accept you for who you are, they're never going to accept you. And so I was, oh God, to be told I wasn't trying hard enough, it hurt so bad. I was trying so hard. And so, like I was saying about like me sensing early on about like something being off, I sensed that something was off. You know, I just didn't feel right. And one of my coworkers, which I worked at this job, I left for 9 months, and then I went back to this job. So my coworkers back at this job, one of them pointed out, you know, kind of as like a side joke, but seriously, she was just like, you know, when you worked here, you weren't having panic attacks and going to the hospital. And I was just like, you're totally right. I wasn't. I was at this job for 1.5 years, and like, every job's going to be stressful. You're going to have your bad days. You're going to have your good days, this and that. But she was totally right. Out of the 1.5 years that I worked here, I was never under the stress that I was at this job. And by like 8 months, I want to say, is when I had to go to the hospital for a really bad panic attack. But before that, I was already like, and it wasn't because of the work. The work, like I said, I like fast pace. I want to stay busy. Some of my coworkers were wonderful, and I don't want to say like some of my coworkers were, well, I've had this and that problems there with some of my coworkers, but you're going to find that everywhere, right? That's a usual job where you're not getting along with some of your coworkers, right? So, but I would go home and cry myself to sleep. I wasn't sleeping right. Then I would have to get up at like 5 a.m. to get to work. And, you know, I just wasn't getting proper, it was just bad. Everything was just bad, and it was all building up. And I'm just not interested in a place like that. And the fact that they're like, everything that I'm saying here, it's like I can't prove, because they can, it's their word against mine. But, you know, the fact that like, if I want my rights, I want other people's rights as well. If I want my rights respected, I want their rights respected as well. And their obvious mistreatment of people who did not go to their same church was like, just, it was obvious, and it was bad. It was so bad. And like, I don't know, it was just bizarre. You know, everybody is their own individual, and sometimes you can get along with people who are similar with you, for obvious reasons. You have more similarities with them. But when someone is different from you, you should not change yourself and start acting different around them, because you're literally treating them differently. You should be able to take your personality and treat them the same way that you would treat these people. Like, hey, what are you doing? Right? And this person would be like, hey, yeah, you know, like, I don't know if I'm making any sense. This video is still, I just feel like I'm rambling on this video, but I still want to put this out that, like, you know, I just, if other Christian people, which, by the way, their majority of their business was from people from their church. Everybody knew them from their church. And I would have people coming up to me being like, oh, do you go to this church? And when I would say, no, I don't, then he'd be like, oh, okay. And like carry on with a conversation with someone else. Like, why couldn't they have a decent conversation with me? That was the thing. And it would happen like that all the time. And it was just, like, again, your actions speak louder than words. There was times where, again, things weren't only happening to me, they were happening to other people, but I was the only one speaking up about it. The owner of the place said that they were going to have management's back no matter what, which is basically like, no, you don't care about me. They were guilt tripping us. Look how much we do for you, when they were only paying $8 hourly. They told us we were going to get raises, and then months later there was no raise and no like talk of giving raises, which, by the way, they also told us that it was no guarantee that there was going to be a raise. You were only going to get a raise based on your performance, which I think is ridiculous because everyone there was expected to do every job, which is reasonable. That part I don't have a problem with. The problem with that part is that the favorites weren't expected on the same thing. If the favorites weren't doing their job, people like me were getting blamed for it. That's what was happening. If this person on the same shift as me was not pulling their same weight because they could get away with it, knowingly or not, it would all fall on me. I was being blamed for things not being done when it wasn't even part of my shift duties. But everything fell on me, right? Right? Management said that management had to be respected no matter what. According to their words, which is how I'm taking it, according to their words, management didn't have to respect you. You had to respect management no matter what. As far as I know, that was a dictatorship and not a leadership, because management hardly like led anything. They would just order you around and expect you to do it, which again, you know, and again, that whole entire like, you better respect me, I don't have to respect you. It's just, it was just so sick and like so twisted and so frustrating. And honestly, I'm so glad to be out of there. I've been out of there for 9 months now, and like, yeah, my stress level is nowhere near what it was then. It was so bad, and like, I just, I think I forgot to like continue what I was saying about like, you know, their Christian people from their church can support them all they want, but I don't want to support them. I never want to step back there. I don't even go over there anyways. I did not live where I was working. And so I never go down there anyways. And they're just like, oh, you'll be back. You know, when I was leaving, some of my coworkers like, oh, you'll be back. We'll see you again. I'm like, no, I'm sorry, but you won't. Like, I don't ever go to that side of town because, like, I just don't. Like, my parents live over there, but they don't even live by the shop either. They still live, like, a bit farther away. You know, like the job is in the middle of the suburb, and my parents live on the edge of that suburb. So it's like, I don't go down that way. But even if I did, I would not step in there again. I would not spend my money there because it was just bad. Like, I don't want to support a business that discriminates against people who aren't like them. And if they have a problem with what I'm saying here, then it's just like, this is how you made me feel. It doesn't matter if you don't think your actions didn't lead to that. This is how I felt. And if you really cared, you would take into consideration how I felt and try to evaluate what am I doing that's making them feel this way? Because this is not only my experience, this is many people's experience. But oh god, the high turnover. The high turnover and nobody asking, why are you leaving? Again, I think even if they really cared, I wouldn't even be in this situation. I wouldn't be saying this. If they really cared from the beginning, I would not be having this problem. But there was just so many things that were wrong. So many things that were wrong. Oh, and full-time here is 35 hours. You don't make the definition for full-time. Full-time means 40 plus hours weekly. You don't make the definition for full-time. Full-time is not 35 hours. So you're lying. If you just want to be upfront and be like, hey, sorry, can't provide you more, can't give you insurance, because that's what it is. We can't provide you insurance, so everyone's going to be part-time. Just be honest. Just be honest. But they're lying. They're liars. And the fact that they also put the blame on it, oh, it's not, we're not making the problem, it's you. You're making me uncomfortable. I'm not making you uncomfortable, which is just the other thing. It's just the reason why I couldn't go to management is because I was so uncomfortable with them from the very beginning. Which is why I tried to go to the owner, and the owner didn't really do much about it. So maybe something should have clicked in your head. Why can't she go to management? Because I'm not comfortable with management. But no, management, which she didn't say that to me, she was saying about someone else. Management was uncomfortable, was made uncomfortable by so-and-so. Yeah. So, gosh. This video, I have 2 minutes left on this video. And just as Gia Gunn was saying, it's just you can try and be perfect. Be perfect before. You will never be their perfect. If they don't want you, they're making it very clear. And you need to move on and go find people who appreciate you more. At my current job, I told one of the employees, he's not my direct coworker, but, I told him I really appreciated what he was doing because I know what it's like to be expected to do everything and not be credited for how much I was doing. And I told him, I really appreciate what you're doing here because literally I don't have to do it. Thank you for taking that stress off of me, And I appreciated them doing that before when I was originally working because they had always done that. But it just meant, it does mean a lot. And I hope I hope him and other people, I hope people get said nice things about, Because the negativity is way too high and it's just,